Hello, and welcome to Today in History for January 23rd. I'm Michael Powell. I wonder how many of us remember this particular incident. On January 23rd of 1968, the USS Pueblo was captured. A Navy intelligence vessel engaged in routine surveillance of the North Korean coast was intercepted by North Korean patrol boats. According to U.S. reports, the Pueblo was in international waters almost 16 miles from shore, but the North Koreans turned their guns on the lightly armed vessel and demanded its surrender. The Americans attempted to escape, and the North Koreans opened fire, wounding the commander and two others. With capture inevitable, the Americans stalled for time, destroying classified information aboard while taking further fire. Several more crew members were wounded. Finally, the Pueblo was boarded and taken to Wonsan. There, the 83-man crew was bound and blindfolded and transported to Pyongyang, where they were charged with spying within North Korea's 12-mile territorial limit and imprisoned. It was the biggest crisis in 2 years of increased tension and minor skirmishes between the United States and North Korea. The United States maintained that the Pueblo had been in international waters and demanded the release of the captive sailors. With the Tet Offensive raging 2,000 miles to the south in Vietnam, President Lyndon Johnson ordered no direct retaliation, but the United States began a military buildup in the area. At first, the captured crew of the Pueblo resisted demands to sign false confession, famously raising their middle fingers at the camera and telling the North Koreans it was a Hawaiian good luck sign. Once the North Koreans learned the truth, they punished the prisoners with beatings, cold temperatures, and sleep deprivation, according to a lawsuit some of the Pueblo's crew would later file against the North Korean government. Eventually, North Korean authorities coerced a confession and apology out of Pueblo Commander Booker, in which he stated, "I will never again be a party to any disgraceful act of aggression of this type." The rest of the crew also signed a confession under threat of torture. The prisoners were then taken to a second compound in the countryside near Pyongyang, where they were forced to study propaganda materials and beaten for straying from the compound's strict rules. In August, North Koreans staged a phony news conference in which the prisoners were to praise their human treatment, but the Americans thwarted the Koreans by inserting innuendos and sarcastic language into their statements. Some of the prisoners also rebelled in photo shoots by casually sticking out their middle finger, a gesture that their captors didn't understand at the time. Later, the North Koreans caught on and beat the Americans for a week. On December 23, 1968, exactly 11 months after the Pueblo's capture, U.S. and North Korean negotiators reached a settlement to resolve the crisis. Under the settlement's terms, the United States admitted the ship's intrusion into North Korean territory, apologized for the action, and pledged to cease any future such action. That day, the surviving 82 crew members walked one by one across the bridge of no return at Panmunjom to the freedom in South Korea. They were hailed as heroes and returned home to the United States in time for Christmas. Incidents between North Korea and the United States continued in 1969, and in April 1969, a North Korean MiG fighter shot down a U.S. Navy intelligence aircraft, killing all 31 men aboard. In 1970, quiet returned to the demilitarized zone. And that was the information about the capture of the USS Pueblo, which they never returned to the United States. For Today in History, I'm Michael Powell. Join me again tomorrow for another episode. Till then, I'll let YouTube choose what you watch.